Hello, Brattleboro. Today we're out here with Luz Elena, I hope the director of the Mahalo Center. She's going to be talking to us to an event that's coming up pretty soon, and I'm very excited to tell you more about it. But without me telling you about it, why don't you tell us more about it yourself?
Well, the event, it's a program called the Gathering in Gratitude Program, and it's been happening in Brattleboro since 2007 every year. And it's a gathering of children, teens, adults, and elders who get together and tune into nature, tune into themselves, and come up with a presentation, a theatrical presentation that is poetry and dance and music and theater and modern myth, visual arts. It's very exciting what everyone comes up with. And so we begin on Monday, and we don't know what's going on, and what's going to happen, but we do tune into nature and ourselves and what wants to come through. It's a very intuitive process. And then by Friday, we present.
Nice, cool. So it's like it's you don't have that much structure. It's more of like what people come up with the stories and the acting, because that's what I saw. I saw a video where it was a bunch of people acting and doing stories, right? And yeah, I guess.
Well, there's actually a lot of structure to it. I've written a chapter in a book on the actual structure of it. And the book is called The Heart and Soul of Psychotherapy. It's edited by my mentor, Saphira Linden. And you can see the outline, and some very deep writings about the structure are in the book. And then there's also a 22-minute documentary film that you can see through BCTV. It's called The Source.
The Source.
And that is all about the process. So there is a structure, there is a process, but it's such a highly, it's the kind of process that leads the participants to be creative to the max. So there's a combination of structure and no holds barred creativity.
Nice. So it's more like I guess a leading from behind. You know, so you have the structure of it, and then people can go and make their own, I guess, their own stories and their own plays and their own songs and all that stuff. Now, another thing that I wanted to ask you was, so you're having some students coming on from West, right? From the West, the Dakota students.
Yes.
So can you tell us why you're bringing these students and why is it,
Well, I'll try to say it without getting emotional, because it's really quite special what's happening. Every time we do the Gathering in Gratitude, we never know exactly where the cast is coming from. So they've come from northern Vermont, they've come from different states. Last year we had people from California, Missouri, Wisconsin, Maryland, New Jersey, and we have local people. So this year, I was talking with one of my mentors, Tony Tenfingers, who is a therapist, counselor, university professor, author from Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. And he was explaining what has been in all of the newspapers and front pages and all over the press, which is that they're having some challenges that they've been having for quite a while at the Indian Reservation, Pine Ridge. And it's a very high teen suicide rate. And these people are just so beautiful. Like when I think of my mentors, from the Lakota people, they're so beautiful. They're really the best people that I know. And so it's very troubling for me that these people are having these challenges and that they've been having them for so long. And so when I was talking to Tony, and he knows my work, and Tony said, let's bring a delegation of teens to Brattleboro, and they can do this process with you and with the local people, and it will be very empowering, not only for the teens from South Dakota, but for everybody involved in the larger ensemble. So it's pretty exciting because Brattleboro, in a way, is like a sister school. Brattleboro, in a way, is like a sister place. Because there's many people from Brattleboro who go to Pine Ridge every year, like Insight, the Exposures summer program from Insight Photography. They go every year for 2-3 weeks, and they bring students from all over the country to work with the people at Pine Ridge and using the images and the photography to tell stories. It's very empowering, so it's very narrative and sharing from the heart. So, and then there's the Rotary Club that sponsors a radio station on Pine Ridge Reservation. And then there's other groups. Lisa Sparrow from the Guilford Community Church is taking people to Pine Ridge this summer with a special group. And there's other people that I know who are all, they're flocking to Pine Ridge.
It's like a sister village.
It's like a sister village, although Pine Ridge is very large. Pine Ridge is the second largest Indian reservation in the United States. Yeah, it's pretty huge.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
So they're coming. A delegation is coming in a van. And you heard me getting off the phone with Tony as I stepped into the studio. And it's very exciting.
No, that is definitely exciting to, what you said, to like bring this kids and showing them the process of that you've been working on for so long, and and learning. Now my other so the Mahalo Center, I've recently came in contact with it, and one of my good friends, Ezlerh, was Shaul. Shaul, he had a thing there, and he told me I couldn't go, but I really wanted to. And so what is the Mahalo Center, and what have you done there?
Well, the Mahalo Art Center is in West Brattleboro, and it's a place where people can connect with nature, connect with themselves, connect with a sense of good spirit, connect with a sense of community, connect with their creativity. And at Mahalo Art Center, one of the most important perspectives is that we create reality from the inside out. And there's a real fervent study, if you will, on the mechanics of creating reality from the inside out. It's a very powerful, very exciting way of living. When you say, well, here's my circumstances, but this is who I really am. And I'm going to manifest, bring into reality who I really am from the inside out. So it's not about, it's over there and I'm going to get it. It's about, it lives in here and it's coming through. And what is it to work with the mechanism of one's psychology and biology and with the times and the surroundings, and allow the reality to come up from the inside out. So that's the investigation at Mahalo Art Center. So we have many different programs. People rent the facilities to have programs, to teach, to have individual sessions, group sessions, evenings, whole days. People have done 3-day programs. We've done 1-week programs, and it's just wonderful. This is a wonderful place to connect with peace and creativity.
That's good. I think I felt like I need to comment on that about trying to make or create the reality within yourself and make it happen. I feel like I see it a lot, in just my peers and even people that are really dear to me. They somehow, it's whatever's happening to them, it's happening to me. Something's happening to me and I'm not in control. Like, this is nothing I can do about it. and it's a really good realization that you know that we created. You know, we can create whatever circumstances is happening. We can create it and really manifest it. You know, from our dreams. So I guess that's a really nice thing that Hal is doing there.
Well, it's not that simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look at people and their situation is one that has economic challenges, social challenges, prejudice, all sorts of discrimination, abuses, psychological challenges, problems with drugs and alcohol, problems with neglect. I mean, you look around and there's plenty of all of what I've just mentioned. And so when you talk about creating reality from the inside out, and then you look at these circumstances in which people live, it's really something to be, that topic of creating reality from the inside out must be approached with great respect and really meeting everybody where they're at, because it's something very delicate,
Mm-hmm.
and you must be very respectful with people. So everyone is in a different place, and it would be very disrespectful to say to somebody who's got really the utmost of challenging circumstances, to the point where they're saying, I'm opting out of life,
Mm-hmm.
to say, oh, you can create reality from the inside out. So that's really not what I'm saying from a Pollyanna kind of place.
Mm-hmm.
But I am saying it from a place of personal experience,
Mm-hmm.
because when I look at my life and everything that I've been through, my life was not handed to me on a silver platter. I worked very hard on an inner level. I've worked very hard to be able to come to the place where I'm at, and so it's this sort of journey that I've been on that inspires me to walk alongside people on their journey, because everybody is different. So all we can do is be friends and to help each other along this amazing path
Right.
of what it is to be alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So so who knows how it really is for everyone, but
Yeah, it's a little bit different for everybody.
it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, and I agree. I think the environment in which we are kind of allows for this, I guess, extremes in people. You know, that for addictions, you know, it goes to not having shelter, not having food, not having all this stuff. These are all things that I guess they're really, I mean, those people didn't create them, right? But we are in a system which enables those things to happen and to be created. And I guess what is your vision of like of a community that supports people, or
yeah, well, I look around, the community is there. It's the community is there. All you have to do is use the internet or your telephone or walk down the street, and there are people who are loving, supportive, visionary. We live in a town, Brattleboro, where this is everywhere you look, you know, you find generous, loving, creative visionaries, healers, and what I see is just more of that. Just more of that, and having it be an awakening throughout the world, which is already happening. You know, we look around the world; we're just part of it. We're part of these. They're not even waves. It's like springtime.
they're just popping out everywhere.
Yeah, like the seeds are sprouting, and the plants and the trees and the berry bushes are growing, and that's who we are, and it's happening, and. It's an interesting comparison. Is it a vision, or is it already happening?
And I think it's a mixture of the two. I mean, for a long time, I was thinking, man, this world is really messed up, and there are things that are messed up still as we speak. There are really weird things and bad things happening, right? But there's so many more beautiful things, I feel, that are happening, and I can only see it on the people around me. Like you said, your community members, and those pockets are I guess telling, hey, look, how beautiful can you be? Because you can truly be as beautiful as you can. And now it belongs to like us. How do we create the community to allow the next generation of kids, of these adults that are gonna be about, hey, listen, I see you for who you are, and yes, we're different, but this place is a beautiful planet. This is a beautiful planet. I can't say that enough. It's a beautiful planet. And to take care of that and each other, that's the key. Now, the Mahalo Center, so you say they do classes and stuff, right? How can people get, I guess, if they want to do a class, how can they reach you? Or
I think the best way is to go to mahaloartcenter.com.
Oh, we have it right. Oh, we don't have it here. This website right here.
The mahaloartcenter.com, and then you can sign up to get the newsletters. The newsletters come out about once a month, and then the newsletters say what's going on there. That's the best way. mahaloartcenter.com, and sign up for the newsletter. So you were talking about a planetary vision, and the way that relates to the gathering in gratitude is that what I found when I was working with children and teens in different facilities that I've worked at, what I found when I was working with children and teens is that many of them don't have a vision for the future. Many of them have a hard time being creative. So the gathering in gratitude process is very supportive of people's strengths and people being confident, aware of themselves, creative, and having a good experience in community. And this is really important.
Yeah,
for
no,
people.
truly. Yeah.
So the gathering in gratitude process is kind of a mini ideal world, if you will, with the children, the teens, the adults, the elders, coming together and seeing what happens, seeing what gets created with all different sorts of creativity. It's a very empowering process. It's an empowering process. Now, I do want to say that when we look at our lives and we look at creating reality from the inside out, etc., it's often very difficult because we have blocks, we have resistance, we have things that confuse us, that stagger us like boulders in the path. So it's not as easy as saying, oh, let it float by. This is not how it works when you have post-traumatic stress disorder, when you have something very disturbing that happened in your past. Maybe it happened once, maybe it happened over many years, maybe it was subtle, maybe it was really not so subtle. But in order to really get into a creative place, you need to not only bring up your awareness and your self-confidence and awareness of your strength and be working with awesome people and be able to experience yourself creating in a healthy community atmosphere. You need to deal with the challenges that turn into massive strengths. Now, the gathering in gratitude process is not designed to address people's severe challenges, because that's something that is really very well addressed in certain very effective and powerful therapeutic processes. Not all therapy, but certain effective, powerful therapeutic processes can help people move through some challenges. And that's just a whole other that's just a whole other topic. But with gathering in gratitude, it's about strength building. And when I was speaking with Tony Ten Fingers out at the Lakota Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota, he was saying that he's excited about the teens coming to join our local ensemble because what's needed is strength building, connections, heart connections, wisdom connections, experiential connections, energetic connections, and building strength like each of us is the center of a wheel, of a medicine wheel, and each one of us is building our own medicine wheel, and we're at the center of it, and we get stronger because when those teenagers leave Brattleboro and go back to South Dakota, they're going back to a culture where poverty is prevalent, where suicide attempts are constant, and God willing, that is changing, and they're lowering, and we're not going to have that, and it's just in the past. So when you talk about vision, I have a vision that in South Dakota, there's absolutely no suicide statistics. It doesn't exist. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great.
It would be great. So this is where we need to put our attention, is the people there and here. Because we have problems here too. We have problems here with poverty and drug addiction and
suicide,
neglect and suicide and all sorts of abuse of every kind you can think of. So, so the vision that we're all holding is at Pine Ridge and in Brattleboro, we have healthy, happy people of all different ages who are working together and respecting each other and not competing, but being very cooperative, generous, having the resources flow, and that people have food and they have a place to live and they're warm and the transportation is flowing and the people are healthy and all of the other things that are good. All of the other things, ease and pleasure and flow and all the supports that are needed, because human beings, we support each other. It's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
So that's it's all good stuff.
Oh, you gave me goosebumps. Yeah, I feel like that all sounds beautiful, and of course, it takes work, and you can't do it alone.
No.
There's plenty of people that are willing to help, and they're watching now. But
yeah, I can tell you what we need, though.
What is that we really need? Tell us what is that we need.
Well, we are pretty close to getting somebody who's going to be on site at Mahalo Art Center making food for the ensemble. We need food. So I think one of the biggest things that people who are viewing this can do is bring food, because we're going to have a lot of people to feed and not a lot of resources. Right now, so one of the things that people can do who are listening, who are watching, is food. And in order to do that, the best thing would be to contact mahaloartcenter.com. Go to the website, find our contact information, and we will connect you with the people who are organizing this. But we're going to need donations of food of all different kinds every day. Because we're going to have food that has been given to us, food that we can purchase with the resources that we're able to raise in the fundraising campaign. And we need to feed the ensemble. So food is pretty top of the list, and then come to the shows. The shows are going to be at 118 Elliott, the space, which is the previously. The shows are going to be at the space at 118 Elliott, which used to be the laundromat across from the fire station on Elliott Street. So this is a newly renovated avant-garde performance space and arts venue in town, and it's opening, and we're going to be. I think we're going to be the first event there. We are not going to be the grand opening. They're going to have another grand opening.
Because it's not even going to be open by then, right?
No, they're going to open it for us.
Oh, you're gonna Yeah, it's not the debut. It's the like you're gonna warm it up for the first performers.
We're gonna warm it up.
So what is this performer gonna entail? Like, or do you have any idea of, or you do know what the show is gonna be?
No.
You don't know?
Absolutely no idea.
Cool. I'm excited about that.
When people come Friday, June 26th, Saturday, June 27th at 7 o'clock, I have no, oops, my microphone. I have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, I seriously have no idea.
Whoa.
Like, seriously.
If you want to check it out, then you have to come out. Again, can you repeat the date just so people know?
Yeah, so the performances are at The Space, 118 Elliott Street in Brattleboro, June 26th, that's Friday. Saturday, June 27th, 7 o'clock. Yeah.
Nice. Check it out.
And Insight Photography is going to display some images from their exposure summer program at Pine Ridge Reservation. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's going to be special.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think we've covered this yet, but you also need some funds to cover the coming of the students, right? You need some, I guess, some crowdfunding or the help from the public.
Yeah, so we are in the process of raising funds. We've probably raised 800 or so of a yard sale. But really the best thing that people can do is to send tax-deductible contributions to Mahalo Art Center. So again, when you go on the mahaloartcenter.com website, you will see our address. Send the checks to Mahalo Art Center, and then we will send you the tax-exempt information. So we're a 501c3, so the money goes to Mahalo Art Center, and then it will go to helping with the expenses for the Gathering in Gratitude, gas, food, and the tuition, and everything it takes to have this happen. Mahalo Art Center serves a lot of children and teens, and we have 2 other summer camps coming up. And I would say that most people who call for our programs say that they need scholarships. So the money will help with scholarships, and this is very important. To allow them to come and awesome. Well, one other thing that I would like, I think we cover all the important things that we need to talk to here today. What is I guess your vision for Mahalo in the next couple of years? Do you have one? Or? Yeah, I do. When I was a little girl, my mother used to bring me to the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. And it's a very beautiful mansion near the Fenway, near the Museum of Fine Arts. And it's several stories, and it has gardens inside and very beautiful places to commune with nature and with fine arts and sculpture and paintings. And my mother used to say to me, Luz Elena, this woman, Isabella Stewart Gardner, she gave this as a gift to the city of Boston. And I always thought that was the coolest thing. And what I see in the future is that Mahalo Art Center, as this nonprofit where people go to commune with nature, silence, themselves, spirit, each other, creativity, just the beauty of tuning into the universe and the harmony and the balance and the dance of what it is to be a human being, right? This very special place where there's just so much nature and art, and to go within and to have a supportive place to allow the creativity to flow from within and allow visionaries to receive that sort of support, right? I would very much like to see this happen. I envision that Mahalo Art Center will be a gift to the community in that sort of way. That's what I want. Yeah. So
that's beautiful. Again, Luz Elena, thank you so much for coming. Well, yeah, thank you so much. It's been an awesome pleasure, and I hope you find you again on the studio after or before the event. But
Ezlerh, you are awesome.
oh,
It's been really a pleasure speaking with you and addressing your questions and also your sparkle, because I need to say something to you, Ezlerh.
yes.
One of my favorite things about Mahalo Art Center is people like yourself. Because I find that people in their 20s, late 20s, early 30s are gravitating to Mahalo Art Center, and you all are visionaries. You're in action. You are alive and intelligent and passionate, and you're full of good ideas, and you are so uncompromising in your dedication to be alive in a way that has integrity for you. And so I'm so moved by the quality of young people in their 20s and 30s who are gravitating to Mahalo Art Center. So when I speak with you, and I know I met you at Mahalo Art Center, I'm just thinking, this is awesome. And then while I'm at it, I can say that the quality of teenagers, incredible. The quality of children, babies that we've had there is great. And the quality of older people, the elders that come and sit around our fires, these are the kind of elders that you want to listen to. I met this amazing elder the other day, and I won't mention her name right now, but she was so awesome, and I said, won't you come and sit around the fire with us in the evening when the Lakota youth and the Lakota delegation of their mentors are there, so you can share? And she says, absolutely. So one of the things that's important at Mahalo Art Center is building this community with these revered elders who have so much to share from their experience, their heart, their soul. And not everybody who's older than 60, 70, 80 is really owning their elder gift, because that takes some doing. So the people who are 40s, 50s, like myself, we are learning, we are aspiring to be good elders. But then we are lucky to have people who are older who help behind the scenes. They're very present. Yeah, I am constantly checking in with these people so that they can guide me and they can guide the programming. Very important. Yeah.
Well, I have to say, Mahalo does pull a lot of powerful people. You know, like I've only been there once, and there was a water release therapist that was there, and it's really beautiful place, and you should come out. It's a beautiful space. Luz Elena, you're an awesome, I guess, again, visionary for not only seeing it, but doing this beautiful space. And one fact that I think is really cool is the foundation of the space, right? It was made by Tibetan monks, is that right? Or something like that? Or
the foundation was poured by John Galanes.
Oh, okay.
And other amazing people. The people who made the Mahalo Art Center's sound healing temple, amazing human beings. But the first person to come and look at the site before anything was done was Sarah Pirtle and Ed Sofke, both sound healers. Ed passed away. Sarah is a reverend and a sound healer. And then a man named Yaltsin, Tibetan stonemason, and he came and he envisioned that the building that would get put there would be a healing temple. And he envisioned a gathering hall where people could go after doing the inner work in the temple, that they could adjourn to a gathering hall to have conversation, to have community building, and relax and have family times together. So that building, the gathering hall, we have an architect, 2 architects on hand to build that, but we need probably $100,000 to get that done. So funders, you're welcome, because once that funding is in place, everybody who's going to build it, all of the different the architects, the builders, the plumbers, the roofers, the electricians, everybody is poised and psyched to build the gathering hall. We just need the funding. So the Tibetan connection is that Yeltsin gave us his blessing. He gave us his vision. But Yeltsin wanted to build a stone temple, which I would love for him to build, but a stone temple was out of the budget at that time. So what I did was I took this vision that I had, combined it with the vision that Yeltsin had, and created an octagonal sound healing temple. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. That's so cool. It's really cool. I feel like I want to ask you even more questions now that I mean, we're not in a rush because we have only 36 minutes on this interview, so it's great. But I wanted to ask you about how you came to like this space. I guess, like, how did you get to how did you get this spark of developing this thing? Like, how did you start? Like,
well, I've always been a teacher. I've always known that my calling is to be a teacher. But as I've evolved, for me, what it is to be a teacher and a leader is really inspired by this ancient Chinese saying that says, go to the people, start with what they know, work with what they have, and of the best leaders, when the work is done and the task is accomplished, the people will say, we've done it ourselves. Luz Elena, she doesn't know anything.
We were the ones that did this.
Right. And so this is a kind of paradigm of leadership that calls to me. And I always knew that I wanted to be an art teacher, a leader, a teacher that has to do with art. And when I was growing up, I thought, oh, art, that's two-dimensional. And then, oh, no, it's sculpture, but it's architecture, and it's poetry, and it's dance, and it's poetry, and it's drama. But then when I was in my 20s, I met a Sufi teacher, and I was reading the writings of Hazrat Inayat Khan, a Sufi master, and one of his books is The Art of Personality. And I was taught that the highest art form is who you are, who you're being. Who you're being is a higher art form than the theatrical production or the painting. And that intrigued me. And so when I say Mahalo Art Center, Mahalo, well, that's profound. That's a whole other conversation. But Mahalo is an act of creation, because I would say Mahalo that the interview with Ezlerh is fabulous. But I say it several days before the interview. So when you use the word mahalo, it's not thank you after the fact. Mahalo is from the Hawaiian language. It's a very powerful word, and it means thank you before the thing happens.
Wow.
So
powerful,
mahalo, yeah, it's powerful. It's an act of creation. Mahalo, art meaning how art thou? Being. So the act of creating your being, center. The art of creating your arting, center. So that's what Mahalo Art Center means. And so my explorations, being an artist, being a performer, being a musician, being a visual artist, being into theater, I was always into all of the arts. And that's a whole other story I won't get into now, but I was always into all of the arts, and I love nature. And so nature for me, ever since I was a child, is like the cathedral of God. You know, you just, oh my God, it just doesn't get any better than nature, right? So I always had this dream of combining my love for nature with my love for the arts, with my love for, like, what is it to be a human being? And I'm a psychotherapist, so the whole transpersonal developmental psychology field is just my love, it's just my passion, and that's a whole other interview, right? So that was my dream, and so I wanted to found a school. And so I founded the Vermont Wilderness School with 2 other guys, and I put everything into that school, and that was, it's what it is. And that chapter, if you will, is closed. But what I did was I took that vision and I said, I really want this vision with integrity, the kind of integrity that feels very deeply authentic and pure and clear to me. And so Mahalo Art Center came out of listening to clues, listening to desire, listening to my longings, and I really wanted to move from where I was living, and a series of synchronicities that were very didn't make any sense led me to this property. And that's a whole other story. So here I am at the property, and I'm just getting that this property wants to be a permaculture training center. It wants to be a healing arts center. It wants to be a place where people get well and investigate what is it to be well, right? And what is it to be well in relationship with nature as an ally in the healing process.
Oh, that's important.
Right? And spirit and the elements. Elements meaning when you come to Mahalo, you'll see a little rivulet. You'll see a little pond. It's like it got teeming with tadpoles now. Right?
Oh yeah, I saw it. I saw it when I went. He was
right?
so many of them. Yeah.
So there's the water element. There's a lot of earth. The earth is just brimming over with food at this point. There's stones. You get a sense of air. You get a sense of sky and sun and stars and moon. And there are, right now there's 3 fire pit areas. A sacred fire circle area, a communal fire circle area, and a cooking fire circle area. So the element fire, the element space, air, the element of water, the element of earth, and the element of spirit, all of this has to be present in a tangible way. So you can feel it, you can taste it, you can smell it, you can be in it, because when you immerse yourself in nature, and of course we're not talking the White Mountains or even the Green Mountains or even, anything like that. We're a little tiny little patch of nature love, like a mile off of I-91, but it's like 101, it's like tune in with the elements in nature 101. So what started emerging, that it did not come from my mind, it just came from love, it came from what wants to happen, what the land wants to have happen, is Mahalo Art Center, just kind of like, hello, I want to be here, and so I am the servant of this vision, if you will.
Nice. Well, it's a really beautiful vision, and I loved it. I loved it a lot, like I said. So anything else you would like to say before we wrap this up?
I am so thankful to all of the people, near and far, who help this to happen. We have people, I've been approached by people who live like many thousands of miles away, and they say, we love what you're doing, here's a grant. And I have to say, if it weren't for these foundations that literally reach out to us, people who see what we're doing and they say, here, we want to help. And they give us money. We could not possibly be doing what we're doing. I don't spend time grant writing because this is too much work to do, right? So I'm thankful for the people who have given money, and I'm also thankful for the people from Brattleboro Time Trade who come and work on the land and who do all sorts of wonderful things for us. And I'm thankful for the community that's just so generous with any fundraiser we're having, a yard sale we're having. People just come, they just stop by and they give love. Sometimes I get home and somebody has put wild leeks on my table, or just like good love. There's a lot of good love that the community gives to Mahalo Art Center. Services, things, money, time, love, consejos, advice. That's in Spanish. So without all of those gestures of love and generosity, there's just no way. There's no way. So we are here. Mahalo Art Center exists because of the love of the community.
So, and I think they give up because they see that, you know, this is something that they believe in, and they feel connection to this space that you've created, because it's not only I felt it. It's a really nice feeling being there. So, anyways, thank you. Let me see. Go back to this. There we go. Thank you, Brattleboro, for listening to us. Again, go to the mahaloartcenter.org and
.com.
.com. Sorry.
Mahalo Art Center. mahaloartcenter.com.
Okay, .com. There we go. And please help us, or help Luz Elena bring these kits from South Dakota. Yeah, thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you. I will. When you've torn the bandage off, dance in the middle of the fight. Oh, dance in your own blood, and then when dancers free, they step to the tambourine within. And if you do not hear that tambourine, or all the leaves clapping time, close the ears on your head. Do not listen to lies or cynical jokes. Like a wave, break City of old.